Hello and welcome, it's Dave here from the Hobby Man by Hearns. Today's unboxing will be the SDS Class 81. So again, we're doing something Australian for this unboxing. Now, we've just had a couple of these come into our store. So we have two versions, the DC version and the DCC sound fitted version. So we've got both at both sites, at Hearns in the city and the Hobby Man out in Narre Warren. So if you are interested, yeah, we have got them. Okay, now the Class 81 was one of the new generation locos that the former SRA, which is the New South Wales Government Railways, ordered back in 1981, but the first ones started rolling out around about late 1982. Now the sole purpose of them ordering these locos was to replace their older, lower generation, second generation class diesels, such as the Class 42, the 44 and 48, so they could start releasing older, lesser horsepower units away. And they were a bit of a breakaway in the sense that these locos were built by Clyde Engineering out at Kelso, out near Bathurst in western New South Wales. Traditionally, New South Wales State Government Railways had most of their locomotives all built by Alco or Comedge. So this was a bit of a break for them. Looking very much like the Class 40 or the Class 422, which was built in 1969, the New South Wales Railways hadn't really had a lot of their locomotives built by Clyde Engineering, so this was a bit of a breakaway. They built a total of 84 of these locomotives, and they're all rated about 3,300 horsepower. In the early days of operation in the early to mid 80s, they were used on the Hunter Valley coal lines, but they also operated on the main south line from Sydney down to Albury, and eventually they found their way all around the state. And they were through workings through to Victoria, so yes, us Victorian modelers can use these as well, as they operated on the standard gauge line from Albury down into Melbourne, predominantly on fast moving overnight freights, but they were also used on, I believe, possibly the Spirit before it became axed and became the Sydney-Melbourne Express. And they may have appeared on the Southern Aurora at times too, as a stand-in engine. But anyway, enough of the history, and on to it. So, with the unboxing, no fancy box art, no fancy pictures, but that doesn't matter because it's what's inside that really matters. Okay, opening up the box, first thing we see, if you flip it upside down, is a list of functions. So it looks like we've got a number of functions here from 0 to F18, so 18 functions or light settings. And this is obviously going to be the DCC sound version we're unboxing today, and we'll go through the sounds a little later on. We have a comprehensive parts list, just helps servicing or reordering parts if required. That much easier. Another piece of paper. This time we just run through the history, and again just things like such as body removal, base maintenance, installing a DCC decoder if you've got the DC version and you just wanted to fit a basic 21 pin MTC decoder, spare parts, lighting functions, and again just on how to remove the body. And they also cover things as lighting functions. You can actually, if you're going to MU the unit with other diesels and you don't want the lights glaring away, no trail lights or headlights, you can switch the lights off, so it allows you to do that as well. On to the unboxing. I must admit, this is a bit different. This is the first time I've unboxed an engine that's in a foam box, so it's a bit like a throwback to earlier times. No ice cube packaging here, but anyway. Nice finger hold, so we can just gently ease that out. Now the first thing that really strikes you in the face is the brightness of it all. True to form, this livery was called the Candy livery, and it is stamped with all of everything that the 1980s was all about: bright, loud and glary. We had some pretty interesting fashions. We had some pretty good rock bands, and also some pretty horrible looking cars too. But anyway, this scheme was actually referred to as the Candy scheme, and it was introduced by the new railway administrator at the time. I don't think you would call him a commissioner, but his name is David Hill, no connection to myself. And he brought this bright but probably very impractical colour scheme, as we have white along the running area, or the running board area of the loco. We have a silver roof, and I think in day-to-day operations of a locomotive that would probably last all of about a day if you were lucky. But anyway, initial impressions, it's a really lovely model, and this camera probably doesn't do it justice. But starting at the front, we've got some really nice embossed, well, the detail on the horns is lovely. You've got a set of wipers. There's a small amount of rudimentary cab detail. We have some MU hoses added on handrails. Again, we work our way down here. We have an uncoupling bar, we have brake hoses, MU hoses, sockets, and so forth. Working along the side, we've got a bit of added on T-tail steps, and I think these might be some valves. I've never been completely sure what these little wheel-like valves are about. I'm assuming they're valves on the AT1, but they're there. A really nice touch, even though it's painted, and you wouldn't think it was, is the Clyde Engineering builder's plate with a Phoenix bird. You probably can't really see much, but it probably just looks a little blue blob to you, but it's actually a nice little touch. And moving along, obviously number 2 end is just a repeat of number 1. Looking at the roof, we have see-through vents, which is really nice. Dynamic brakes. And as we mentioned before, the lighting switches for the various light functions are right down here behind the bogies. So you'd probably just need a slim jeweler's screwdriver or something thin, a small skewer just to flick them on or off. Anyway, we'll just put it on the track and give you a bit of a sound demo. Function 8. Prime mover starts up. So if it's true to form, that should be a 16-cylinder 4-stroke EMD prime mover. I haven't seen an 81 in a fairly long time, but it sounds pretty much like it would for a G-Class or a BL. Horn, F2. Function 6, ditch lights. I know you probably can't see that, but it's there, believe me. And we have function 9, which will cycle through the lights. So I'll just get those on. Okay, function 6 brings the ditch lights on. And they don't seem to crisscross over as you hit the horn like on other locos. And we have F10 coupling crash. Don't know if you heard that, but that sounded pretty definite. F12 heavy load. Yeah, that sounds pretty good, doesn't it? That would look brilliant leaving a yard with a heavy load of wagons behind it. And that seems to go to speed step 28. That seems to max out. And function 1's a horn, RZ bell. I don't know why they put a bell, because as far as I know they'll never fit it with a bell. Yep, it sounds a little bit too American. Get back to the horn. We'll just wind that back. Okay. Well, there you go. It's a rather impressive model. It's reasonably priced. If you are interested in getting one of these, like I mentioned before, we have the DC version and the DCC with sound version at both stores, or you can go online, and postage is free throughout Australia if for any orders over $100. So there you have it, a rather smart looking Australian diesel in the very brightish candy colour scheme from the 1980s, as they were when they entered service. So it would look brighten up your layout considerably, I would believe. Yeah. Anyway, that's it for today. Until next time, happy modelling.